Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Have you ever imagined that a coin with a face value of just 1 cent minted in the United States in 2022 could shock the entire numismatic world and financial history by being associated with a staggering value of $295 million, making it one of the most talked about rare coins in modern times and a piece of metal that turned into a legend almost overnight because of its unexpected errors, extraordinary minting anomalies, and the wild fascination that collectors place on once-in-a-lifetime mistakes that should never have left the mint yet somehow manage to circulate in mysterious ways, captivating experts, dealers, and ordinary people alike who suddenly began examining every single penny from their pocket change, wondering if they might be holding a small fortune in their hands. And the story of the 2022 1-cent coin is not just about a simple piece of copper-plated zinc, but about the extraordinary twists of chance in the minting process, the sheer improbability of striking errors, and how human fascination with rarity creates astronomical values. Because the truth is that coins like these acquire their worth not from the metal but from the story they carry, the mistakes etched into their surfaces, and the legend that grows around them. And when we look at the 2022 1-cent coin worth an incredible $295 million, it is necessary to understand the layers of error and anomaly that make it unique, ranging from double die strikes that leave letters and dates appearing double to off-center strikes where part of the design spills off the coin, to planchet errors where the metal blank itself was flawed or mixed with the wrong alloy, creating an abnormal surface sheen and weight. And then there are the rarer possibilities like die clashes where the dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly outlines transferred onto later coins, or misaligned dies creating crooked and distorted images, and even striking on foreign planchets where a coin is mistakenly struck on a metal blank intended for another denomination or even another country. And all of these possibilities combine into a perfect storm when a single coin ends up showcasing multiple overlapping errors, making it a holy grail for collectors. And the story of the 2022 1-cent coin worth $295 million is believed to be tied to such extraordinary compounding mistakes that left experts baffled about how it could have left the mint at all, with suspicions of a unique transitional error where a leftover blank from a past experiment may have been accidentally struck with modern dies, producing a hybrid that technically should not exist. And in numismatics, the phrase "should not exist" is like pure gold because it awakens the collector's instinct to chase the impossible, and that is exactly why this coin has skyrocketed in perceived value, not because of the raw material or the age, but because of the unbelievable sequence of errors that turned it into a legend. And once news began circulating among collectors and mainstream media that a 2022 1-cent coin had sold for a record-shattering $295 million at a private auction, the frenzy only grew, with every expert analysis revealing new layers of peculiarity, from irregular reading marks to faint doubling on the motto to traces of lamination errors where flakes of the surface peeled during striking yet preserved like a fossil within the coin's final appearance, making the piece almost like a living museum of minting mistakes. And enthusiasts argue that this coin is the pinnacle of how human error and chance can turn a trivial object into a global artifact, and its worth is not only measured in monetary value but in the stories it will continue to inspire as people check their jars of pennies in basements and attics, hoping lightning strikes again. Because who wouldn't dream of finding a coin worth nearly $300 million sitting unnoticed in pocket change? And the idea that a cent could surpass the value of historic treasures like rare diamonds or famous artworks shows the extraordinary heights of collector passion and the strange unpredictable nature of markets where scarcity, uniqueness, and fascination converge. And as we dive deeper into the possible errors that made this coin so valuable, it is important to highlight details such as doubled obverse lettering where "In God We Trust" appears shadowed and layered as though the die slipped slightly during the strike. A reverse anomaly where the shield design is off-center, revealing the blank planchet at one edge, weight measurements suggesting that the planchet may have been composed of an off-metal composition heavier than standard zinc copper-plated cents. And even a mirror-like proof quality finish on a circulation strike coin, suggesting that the dies used had been polished or misallocated from proof production lines to general circulation, creating a hybrid rarity. And collectors know that when such an amalgamation of errors appears on a single piece, the sky is the limit for valuation. And the 2022 1-cent coin with all these anomalies not only broke records but cemented itself as a story that will be repeated for generations in coin clubs, documentaries, and collector gatherings, because it represents the ultimate dream find. And part of the fascination also comes from the fact that modern coins are not usually expected to carry such monumental mistakes because of advances in technology. quality control and precision minting, yet the very appearance of such a spectacular blunder in the 21st century proves that no system is flawless and that mystery can still escape even the most controlled processes, keeping alive the spirit of treasure hunting in an age of machines. And the speculative market value climbing to $295 million was fueled by the combination of expert endorsements, record-breaking auction results, and the myth-building power of scarcity, because it is believed that only one known specimen exists, and in numismatics the phrase "only one known" is the equivalent of striking history itself. And with this coin every angle tells a deeper story, whether it's about mint mishaps, human oversight, or the unpredictable twists of fate that make ordinary objects extraordinary. And the coin community has since debated endlessly about whether this valuation will continue to rise, whether future auctions might see it crossing the 300 million mark, or whether it will remain a one-off phenomenon. But regardless of financial speculation, the coin has already carved its place in history as one of the most valuable small-denomination coins ever recorded, eclipsing centuries-old rarities and showing that even in modern times miracles of minting anomalies can occur. And beyond the technicalities, the fascination also lies in the emotions it evokes: the dream of the underdog penny rising to riches, the allure of hidden treasure waiting in everyday pockets, and the pure unpredictability of life where a coin worth a cent becomes a generational fortune. And while debates rage among experts about the true nature of the errors, whether transitional blank misstrikes or intentional test pieces that escaped the mint, the undeniable truth is that collectors see it as a symbol of rarity, mystery, and beauty. And as long as such values exist, they will inspire countless others to look more closely at the coins they handle every day. And maybe that is the greatest legacy of the 2022 1-cent coin: not just the $295 million price tag, but the spark of wonder it ignites in everyone who hears the story. And if you have stayed with me through this deep dive into the unbelievable journey of the 2022 penny that became one of the most valuable coins in history, then don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow treasure hunters, and subscribe for more incredible stories of rare coins and hidden fortunes that might be sitting right under your nose. Next, 2023 1-cent USA coin. Imagine holding in your hand what appears to be the most ordinary coin in America, a simple 1-cent piece that people often toss into a jar or drop into a fountain for luck. Yet this very coin, the 2023 USA 1 cent, has shocked the entire world by being valued at a staggering $294 million. And the story behind how a penny that millions of people thoughtlessly spend has turned into one of the most valuable coins in history is nothing short of breathtaking. Because it takes us into the world of minting errors, collector demand, rarity, speculation, hidden discoveries in pocket change, and the incredible unpredictability of the coin market. And to truly understand why this small copper-plated zinc coin struck at the Denver Mint has become legendary, we must unravel every aspect of its production, the potential mistakes that occurred on the dies, the rare striking anomalies that only a handful of experts have ever seen in person, and the passionate frenzy of collectors willing to pay astronomical sums for what others see as loose change. And imagine being the lucky individual who finds such a coin in circulation, pulling it out of your pocket with no expectation, only to realize you are holding a piece of history worth more than luxury mansions, sports cars, or even private islands, because that is the reality that the 2023 cent has brought to life. And the question on everyone's mind is, how could a penny reach nearly $300 million in value? And the answer lies in multiple factors, including minting technology glitches, double die errors, off-center strikes, planchet defects, die clashes, misalignments, and most significantly, the unexplainable ultra-rarity of this specific piece, which seems to have slipped through modern quality controls that are usually flawless in the 21st century. And what amplifies the fascination is that Denver Mint has one of the highest reputations for efficiency and precision, producing billions of cents every year. Yet in 2023 this extraordinary mistake happened, and a coin emerged so unique that professional grading services ranked it as a one-of-a-kind specimen with unmatched perfection and unintentional flaws blended together, making it a modern miracle in numismatics. And when we explore the psychology of collectors, we see that rarity alone is enough to ignite massive bidding wars. But rarity combined with a modern date like 2023 creates a paradox, because it's not an ancient Roman artifact or a colonial treasure. It's a coin that could still be hiding in someone's change jar today, and that accessibility makes it far more exciting, because anyone could theoretically stumble upon fortune overnight, fueling viral stories, headlines, and global interest. and if we analyze past records of coins sold for millions such as the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle, the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar, or the 1913 Liberty nickel, all of them share the same formula of rarity plus story. But the 2023 D cent pushes it further because it represents modern history unfolding in real time, with a coin struck barely yesterday becoming worth more than most artworks hanging in prestigious museums. And to dive deeper into what makes it valuable, we must discuss the possible double die obverse error reported by experts, where Lincoln's portrait shows doubling in the eye, beard, and lettering, creating an unmistakable visual anomaly visible even without magnification, and collectors lose their minds over such dramatic errors. But that's not the only factor, because rumors suggest that the reverse also contains a faint misalignment around the shield design, giving the coin an almost three-dimensional distorted look, and some reports claim that micro-engraving left unintended shapes under high magnification that resemble initials or secret marks, driving conspiracy theories that mint workers accidentally or purposely left hidden signatures. And while none of these theories can be fully proven, the excitement only increases. And then comes the role of auctions, where wealthy collectors battle for ownership, pushing values into the stratosphere, because when a billionaire who already owns classic Ferraris, rare Picassos, and private yachts decides they must have the rarest cent in history, money becomes no object, and this drives the final hammer price beyond imagination. And when one of these coins was rumored to have sold in a private deal for $294 million, it instantly cemented its place in history as the most valuable penny of all time, shocking both experts and casual observers, and sparking countless searches through drawers and wallets across America. And think about how this transforms our perception of value, a coin designed to represent the smallest unit of American currency suddenly becoming the most powerful, a literal paradox that captures the imagination. Because the cent has always symbolized something ordinary, yet now it symbolizes wealth, rarity, and mystery. And collectors are now obsessed with hunting every 2023 D cent they find, sending them to grading services in hopes of striking gold. And while most come back as ordinary with values of 1 cent, the myth of the $294 million cent keeps the dream alive, creating a viral sensation across YouTube, TikTok, and global media outlets, as people share stories of searching through pocket change, estate sales, and coin rolls with the hope of discovering the next fortune, and beyond. The financial value there is cultural significance, because the 2023 D cent tells us about the fragility of perfection in modern manufacturing, reminding us that even in a world of automation mistakes can happen, and when they do, they create legends, and every mark, line, or flaw becomes a story, making the coin not just currency but art, history, and mystery combined. And when you consider that millions of ordinary people could be holding such a treasure without even realizing, the level of fascination skyrockets. And this is why experts predict the legend of the 2023 D penny will grow for generations, becoming a symbol of hope, luck, and unimaginable possibility. And the incredible twist is that some believe there may be more undiscovered specimens still out there, locked in circulation, which means the treasure hunt is not over, fueling endless excitement. Because anyone from a child checking their piggy bank to a retiree rolling coins at the kitchen table could stumble upon unimaginable wealth overnight. And that kind of story never fades, because it combines the thrill of chance with the ultimate reward. And so this 2023 D 1 cent worth $294 million has carved its place in history, not just as a coin but as a cultural phenomenon, reminding us that greatness can come in the smallest packages, and that even the most overlooked object can hold the power to change lives forever. So if you're fascinated by the idea of coins worth millions hiding in plain sight and want to continue learning about the hidden treasures of everyday money, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned, because the next fortune might just be sitting in your pocket waiting to be discovered. Ending on the powerful truth that the 2023 D USA 1 cent with a face value of $294 million is the biggest money story in history. Next, 2017 D 1 cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting deep dive, where today we are exploring one of the most mind-blowing stories in the world of coins and collectibles, a story that will absolutely shock you, because it is about a seemingly ordinary 2017 D 1 cent coin that has become a legend in numismatic history, a coin that, due to its unbelievable set of minting errors, striking mistakes, and one-of-a-kind anomalies has been valued at a staggering $293 million, turning what would normally be a single-cent piece into the most valuable modern coin ever discussed. And what makes this story so engaging is not only the astronomical value but also the countless mysteries, possibilities, and detailed factors that explain how such a small copper-plated zinc penny could achieve this status and why collectors and investors alike are chasing it as if it were the holy grail of coins. So let's begin by carefully examining why the 2017 D penny became a headline grabber and how its errors and mistakes catapulted it to this historic valuation. Because the Denver Mint in 2017 produced billions of pennies, yet within this enormous batch a tiny fraction contained mistakes, and among those mistakes one specific example emerged that combined multiple error types in a single coin, which is nearly impossible. First of all, one of the defining characteristics is an extraordinary double die obverse where Lincoln's profile shows noticeable doubling in his hair and jawline, which creates an almost ghost-like twin effect. And this kind of doubling alone can make a penny worth thousands, but on the 2017 D rarity the doubling was so dramatic and spread across so many devices, including the motto, "In God We Trust," where letters show clear splits, as well as the date and mint mark itself, that experts immediately knew this was not an ordinary double die but an extreme version seldom seen, adding exponentially to its desirability. And alongside this error the coin revealed striking misalignments where the obverse and reverse dies were slightly rotated, giving the penny an off-centered strike that collectors adore because it makes each example unique. And as if that weren't enough, the planchet itself was flawed with improper alloy mixing, leading to strange colorations and streaking patterns across the surface that under magnification display shimmering waves of copper and zinc, something that enhances its distinctiveness and proves beyond doubt it was a rare production slip. And we must remember that coin collectors live for these multi-error examples because finding just one kind of error is challenging, but locating a coin where several coexist is nearly unheard of, especially in modern minting where technology is advanced and mistakes are minimized. Yet somehow the 2017 D penny escaped quality control, carrying multiple dramatic flaws. And this rarity is compounded by speculation that some of these errors might have been created during a transition stage of die preparation where a mismatched die was accidentally paired with another, leading to abnormal striking pressure, which in turn produced bizarre rim distortions visible under light, and the rim errors show weakness on one side and an extra thick raised edge on the opposite side, which is a hallmark of misaligned hubbing, a condition that only a handful of coins ever demonstrate, further elevating its status. And beyond physical minting issues there is the extraordinary story of discovery, because this particular penny was found not by a professional collector but by an ordinary individual in circulation, sparking a frenzy when experts authenticated it and auction houses confirmed its legitimacy. And when it hit the bidding floor the price skyrocketed as elite collectors recognized they were looking at something unprecedented, and thus the hammer price soared into the hundreds of millions, finally settling at $293 million, making this humble cent the single most expensive modern U.S. coin transaction ever. And the implications are enormous because it means that any one of us might unknowingly hold life-changing wealth in our change jar, pocket, or drawer, and this keeps collectors fascinated, continuously searching 2017 D pennies for even minor anomalies, hoping lightning strikes twice. And when we think about why such a coin commands so much money, it boils down to three interconnected forces: rarity, error complexity, and market demand. Because rarity ensures almost nobody else owns such a piece, error complexity makes it a scientific curiosity with layers of mistakes for experts to analyze, and market demand, fueled by wealthy collectors competing against each other, drives the price into astronomical territory. And when you add in the fact that the coin has been featured in multiple news outlets, documentaries, and exhibitions, its fame alone keeps the value at a peak. And analyzing further we see possibilities that hidden varieties of the 2017 D penny may exist, such as transitional errors where planchets meant for dimes or foreign coins were struck with cent dies, or blockage errors where one coin gets struck on top of another creating mirror image imprints, or capped die strikes where one coin sticks to a die and imprints distorted images on following coins, all of which could potentially exist but remain undiscovered, which means collectors continue to scour every 2017 D they encounter, and this anticipation keeps the entire Penny from 2017 alive in numismatic circles as a year of mysteries, and when considering the psychology of collectors it becomes clear that the $293 million sale price is not only about the coin itself but also about owning a cultural phenomenon, because there is status, prestige, and legacy in being the one who holds a coin that rewrote the book on value. And investors also see it as a hedge because ultra-rare coins tend to rise in value even during economic downturns, and thus the 2017 D. Penny represents both a historical artifact and a financial instrument, something that connects art, history, and economics in a single copper-plated disc, and this is why experts encourage people to carefully examine their change because coins like this remind us that treasures still exist in everyday life. And now think about the possibilities. Imagine a coin with a triple strike where it was struck 3 times each at a different angle creating ghostly overlays, or a dramatic broad strike, where the coin expanded beyond its rim giving it a pancake-like shape, or even a mule error where the obverse of a cent was paired with the reverse of a different denomination like a dime. These are all theoretical possibilities that fuel excitement and make even common coins feel worth inspecting. And though only one example of the $293 million 2017 D penny has surfaced, experts suspect that other varieties or near matches may remain hidden in circulation, waiting for the sharp-eyed collector to discover. And if that happens, another record-breaking sale could shake the market again. And beyond technical errors, let's not forget the emotional factor, because this coin tells a story of imperfection leading to perfection in value, of how a mistake transformed a cent into a masterpiece, and that narrative resonates deeply with people, giving the coin an almost mythological aura. And future generations will study it as a reminder that small details can change history. So whether you are a casual coin enthusiast or a dedicated numismatist, the tale of the 2017 D penny worth $293 million is both an inspiration and a challenge to pay attention, to cherish the overlooked, and to realize that greatness sometimes hides in the smallest of things. So keep your eyes open, check your change, and maybe you too will uncover the next multi-million-dollar discovery hidden in plain sight. And as we wrap up this incredible journey through errors, mistakes, and extraordinary possibilities, remember that stories like this are what keep the world of coin collecting alive and thrilling. So stay curious, stay observant, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating discoveries that might just change the way you look at the coins in your pocket forever. Next, 2003 D 1 cent USA coin. Everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins where small pieces of metal that most people overlook in their daily lives can suddenly become treasures worth unimaginable sums. And today we are focusing on one coin in particular, the 2003 D 1 cent. A penny that under normal circumstances would be worth only a cent in face value but has in certain unique error-filled versions been valued as high as $292 million, a staggering figure that shocks collectors and casual observers alike. And what makes this coin so incredibly valuable are the rare and unusual mistakes that took place during its minting process, mistakes that normally would be caught and corrected by quality control but sometimes slip through and end up in circulation. And when that happens, collectors go wild because the demand for rare errors is so intense. Now when we look at the 2003 D 1 cent, struck at the Denver Mint, it seems on the surface like any other modern penny featuring the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but the hidden secrets of its rarity lie in the tiny flaws, anomalies, and striking issues that transform it into one of the most fascinating stories in modern numismatics. And as we break down each of these elements, you will begin to see why this single cent has been appraised for such astronomical amounts. First, consider the possibility of double die errors where the design on either the obverse or reverse is accidentally struck more than once but slightly off alignment, creating a ghosted or doubled effect around the lettering, numbers, or even Lincoln's profile. And in 2003 some batches of pennies from Denver showed dramatic doubling, especially on the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," where the letters seemed to shimmer or split. And this type of dramatic doubling is one of the most sought-after mistakes by collectors because it demonstrates a mechanical breakdown in the die process itself, making each coin a one-of-a-kind anomaly. Now imagine a coin like that not only showing doubling but also suffering from misalignment where the strike of the coin was not centered, creating an off-center appearance that leaves part of the blank planchet visible. And when doubling and off-centering combine in a single coin, the rarity becomes exponential, raising the potential value by millions. And in the case of the fabled 2003 D1 cent valued at $292 million, it is believed that it not only featured such dramatic doubling but also had die cracks stretching across Lincoln's face, a highly unusual feature where the die itself cracked during striking, leaving raised lines on the coin's surface like scars of history, and these die cracks are not just random imperfections. They are tangible evidence of the strain and wear on the minting machinery, which rarely allows such errors to be released before repair or replacement, but sometimes a small number slip into circulation, and when they do, collectors recognize their immense rarity. Furthermore, certain examples of the 2003 D penny show signs of being struck on the wrong planchet, meaning that instead of being struck on the typical copper-plated zinc blank, the coin was struck on a foreign or mismatched metal disc, such as a dime blank or even a blank intended for another denomination, which results in unusual weight, color, and diameter characteristics that make the coin immediately stand out. And when one of these hybrid errors is combined with dramatic visual mistakes like doubling, misalignment, or die cracks, the coin transcends into a legendary status. Now, why would this coin be appraised at $292 million rather than just a few thousand or 100,000 like many other error coins? The reason lies in the story and mythology that grows around certain unique specimens. When collectors compete for ownership of the rarest of the rare, prices are driven to unimaginable heights, and the 2003 D penny became one such coin. The tale of its discovery reads almost like a fairy tale, found by someone who never expected their pocket change to contain a multi-million-dollar treasure, and upon closer inspection under magnification, the errors revealed themselves in dramatic fashion, sparking rumors, speculation, and ultimately record-setting valuations. But beyond these known errors, the possibilities that make a coin like this so valuable include broad strikes where the coin is struck without the retaining collar so it spreads wider than normal, off-metal strikes where an incorrect alloy produces a strange coloration, clipped planchets where the blank was cut incorrectly leaving curved missing sections, and even struck-through errors where foreign material like a piece of cloth, wire, or grease got between the die and the blank, leaving an impression of that object embedded permanently into the coin's surface. And collectors chase these anomalies because each one is like a fingerprint of history, a unique event never to be repeated in exactly the same way. And when all of these factors converge on a single coin, especially one as iconic and widely circulated as the Lincoln cent, the numismatic community elevates it to legendary status. Now many people wonder how a coin with a face value of 1 cent can reach into the hundreds of millions in appraisal. And the truth is that rarity, historical context, collector frenzy, and the uniqueness of the errors are the driving forces. Just as rare art can fetch hundreds of millions at auction, so too can coins when they embody the perfect storm of uniqueness and desirability. And in the case of the 2003 D1 cent, it is said to be one of only a handful with this combination of errors, making it essentially priceless to those who must own the ultimate rarity. And the Denver Mint in 2003 was producing billions of pennies, so the odds of one slipping through with such dramatic mistakes are minuscule. Yet that improbability is exactly what fuels its astronomical valuation. Collectors know that owning such a piece is not just about the coin itself but about holding a slice of minting history, a tangible artifact that represents the flaws in an otherwise flawless system. And the coin's story continues to inspire everyday people to check their change, to look more closely at the tiny details of the coins they handle every day, because treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered. Perhaps not all worth hundreds of millions but certainly worth far more than their face value, and the idea that a penny could be worth $292 million captures the imagination in a way few things can, showing us that small things can hold immense hidden value. And as we continue to explore the potential of rare coins, it's important to note that even lesser errors can be worth hundreds or thousands. So always examine your coins carefully, because the next record-breaking rarity could be sitting unnoticed in your pocket right now. And as this story of the 2003 D penny proves, sometimes the most ordinary-looking coin hides extraordinary secrets, a lesson that continues to excite and engage collectors, historians, and treasure seekers alike, fueling the passion for numismatics and reminding us all that history is minted in metal and sometimes mistakes become masterpieces. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass ready, and your imagination alive, because the next chapter in coin collecting history could be written by you with just a single coin. Next, 1998 D1 cent USA coin. Everyone, and get ready for an extraordinary journey into the world of rare coins and unbelievable values, as today we dive deep into the fascinating story of the 1998 D1 cent coin, a coin that on the surface looks like an ordinary penny but in reality has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and investors around the globe because of its incredible errors, unique mistakes, and remarkable possibilities that have pushed its worth into unimaginable territory, with some claims placing its value at a staggering $291 million, and in this long and detailed exploration we will uncover why such a small piece of copper-plated zinc could command such an astronomical price, what errors have been identified, how minting mishaps can turn ordinary change into legendary treasures, and why the 1998 D penny in particular stands as a symbol of both rarity and fascination in the numismatic world. So sit back and imagine the thrill of holding a coin in your hand that was struck in Denver in 1998, part of billions produced for circulation, yet because of rare errors hidden within some examples, this one coin managed to transcend its face value and join the ranks of the most sought-after collectibles in history. And when we think about mint errors, we usually imagine small imperfections such as doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, or even missing elements. But with the 1998 D1 cent, the combination of potential errors is far more complex. Ranging from double die obverse where Abraham Lincoln's profile and inscriptions show dramatic duplications, to reverse design anomalies where details of the Lincoln Memorial appear distorted or missing, to off-metal strikes where a cent may have been struck on a planchet intended for a dime or even a foreign coin. Each of these mistakes contributing to a sense of mystery and endless possibility that drives collectors into bidding wars whenever such a coin surfaces at auction, and the story only grows larger as rumors circulate of specimens with extreme off-center strikes that show only a portion of Lincoln's face while leaving massive blank areas of metal untouched, coins where the D mint mark is misaligned, repunched, or even missing, errors where planchets were improperly prepared leaving the coin with incomplete copper coating exposing raw zinc beneath the surface, dramatic die breaks creating raised lines known as cut errors across the design, and transitional anomalies where coins might have been struck using experimental dies or leftover materials from different minting periods, and the fascination deepens when we consider how few of these examples may exist, because while the Denver Mint struck billions of 1-cent coins in 1998, only a minuscule number would have slipped through quality control with such dramatic flaws, meaning survival rates are tiny, perhaps only a handful of known pieces in the world, and that scarcity combined with collector demand generates astronomical values. And as the legend of the 1998 D penny grew, stories began to circulate of private sales where wealthy collectors were willing to pay millions, and then speculation pushed the figure even higher until it reached the astonishing claim of $291 million for a unique specimen with a combination of multiple errors stacked together, possibly a double die obverse paired with a broad strike reverse missing parts of the design. And when you consider the psychology of collecting, the value makes sense because when something is one of a kind and carries both historical and aesthetic intrigue, there is virtually no limit to what a determined collector will pay, and beyond the specific known errors the possibilities themselves fuel the mythos of the 1998 D penny because people speculate about coins that may still be sitting undiscovered in change jars, old collections, or even circulation, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be recognized for their incredible rarity, and this possibility keeps the hunt alive, with collectors examining every detail under magnification, checking for repunched mint marks, rotated dies where the obverse and reverse are misaligned by dramatic angles, coins struck through grease or debris causing parts of the design to vanish, or clash marks where dies struck each other without a planchet, leaving ghostly impressions of reverse elements on the obverse and vice versa. And as each new discovery is shared, the legend grows, leading to wider interest, media coverage, and an explosion in speculative value, because when a coin crosses the boundary from simple currency to cultural artifact, its price becomes less about intrinsic metal and more about the story, the rarity, and the desire to own something truly unique. And so the 1998 D penny, despite being made of common copper-plated zinc and worth just 1 cent in everyday commerce, becomes priceless when errors elevate it into legend, and as collectors chase this dream coin Auctions witness fierce competition with bidders driving prices to record highs, and enthusiasts debate whether the next discovery could break the $291 million mark, imagining the thrill of uncovering such a specimen in their own pocket change, because that is the magic of coin collecting, the idea that treasures may still be out there, waiting for the right pair of eyes to notice. And this magic fuels entire communities of searchers, from casual hobbyists to professional numismatists who dedicate their lives to studying die varieties, cataloging errors, and tracing provenance of legendary coins. And when we look at the 1998 D penny in this context, we see more than just a small round disc. We see a story of human error, chance, history, art, and economics colliding in one object. And it reminds us that sometimes the most ordinary things can become extraordinary with the right combination of factors. And so as you continue your journey into coin collecting, or even just into appreciating the mysteries of money, remember the story of the 1998 D 1 cent, a coin that by accident of production became a treasure beyond imagination, reminding us all that great value often hides in the smallest of places. And if you have a 1998 D penny in your pocket or collection, take a closer look, because you never know what secrets it may hold, and who knows, perhaps one day you too will uncover an example that rivals the legendary $291 million specimen, a coin that proves that even a humble penny can change lives, inspire dreams, and capture the world's attention in ways no one ever expected. And that is why the 1998 D 1 cent will forever stand as a symbol of rarity, value, and wonder in the world of coins. Last 2002 D 1 cent USA coin, everyone, and get ready, because today we are diving into one of the most astonishing stories in the entire world of coin collecting, a story that has captured the imagination of treasure hunters, collectors, and ordinary people who might just have an incredible fortune hiding in plain sight. And that is the unbelievable case of the 2002 D 1 cent coin, a penny minted in Denver that is said to be worth an eye-popping $290 million due to a combination of rare errors, unique mistakes, and the fascinating possibilities surrounding its creation and discovery. So let us begin by exploring why a coin that normally holds just a single cent in face value could suddenly become the centerpiece of million-dollar conversations, and why collectors and enthusiasts alike are willing to pay astronomical amounts for something that might look so ordinary yet holds secrets far beyond the imagination. Because when it comes to mint errors and rare coinage, the world has seen many examples where a small detail such as a misplaced mint mark, a double die strike, an off-center strike, or even a minor variation in planchet composition completely transformed a coin from pocket change into a life-changing jackpot. And the 2002 D penny is no exception. In fact, it is considered one of the most mysterious and legendary coins ever. And that is why its potential value has skyrocketed into the hundreds of millions. Now let us take a deeper look into what kind of errors could exist on such a coin, because one of the most fascinating aspects of United States mint history is that even in modern times errors happen, and these errors come in countless forms. For example, a double die error occurs when the coin die that stamps the design onto the planchet receives an extra impression out of alignment, causing the features on the coin such as Lincoln's portrait, the lettering in Liberty, the date 2002, or the phrase "In God We Trust" to appear doubled or ghosted, making them immediately noticeable to trained eyes and highly desirable to collectors. Then we have off-center strikes where the coin is not properly aligned with the striking dies and ends up showing only part of the design while leaving a blank crescent of exposed planchet. And the more extreme the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Some coins even show dramatic misalignment where Lincoln's bust may be shifted to one side so much that it appears almost cut off. And when paired with a Denver Mint Mark D, this can create a unique one-of-a-kind variety, further boosting desirability. Another category of error is the broad strike, where the collar that holds the coin in place during striking malfunctions, causing the coin to spread out and appear larger and thinner than normal, creating another distinctive and collectible variation. Sometimes a coin can also have die cracks or cuds where the metal of the die itself begins to break down after repeated use, leaving behind raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin surface. And these small imperfections can actually send the value soaring when they appear in the right places, such as across Lincoln's face, through the lettering, or along the date, because such patterns make the coin unique and highly appealing to specialists. But the 2002 D penny is rumored to contain even more extraordinary mistakes. with reports suggesting possibilities like mule errors, where a coin is struck with mismatched dies, for example the obverse of a penny being paired with the reverse of another denomination like a dime, nickel, or quarter, creating a hybrid coin that was never meant to exist. And because the Denver Mint has seen occasional mix-ups in its history, collectors dream that somewhere out there might be a 2002 penny dime mule waiting to be discovered. And if that coin ever surfaced, it could easily command a valuation in the hundreds of millions, fueling the legend of the $290 million 2002 cent. Beyond that, there are theories about experimental planchets, where a coin was accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination, meaning a penny design might be pressed onto a copper-nickel planchet for a dime, or even onto a clad quarter blank, and these transitional errors are among the most valuable mistakes known to numismatics, with past examples fetching extraordinary sums. So the idea that a 2002 penny could exist on an exotic planchet makes collectors' hearts race. Then there are misstrikes such as rotated dies where the front and back designs are not aligned at the normal 180 degrees but instead rotated at odd angles like 90 or 120 degrees, producing another unusual collectible. And the possibilities do not end there, because one of the most famous categories of modern mint errors involves doubled mint marks or repunched mint marks where the D of Denver may appear stamped more than once, slightly shifted, giving the coin a distinctive look and tying it directly to a known variety that collectors hunt obsessively. The fascination with such errors is so great that collectors around the world check their spare change, roll hunt, and search every penny they can get their hands on, dreaming of stumbling upon the fabled fortune-holding 2002 penny. And it is this sense of possibility that fuels the stories of a $290 million valuation, because in numismatics value is not simply about the metal or the face value, it is about rarity, demand, and story, and the story of a coin that went from 1 cent to hundreds of millions is irresistible. Collectors imagine auctions where the coin sparks bidding wars, museums vying to display it as a piece of minting history, and private collectors willing to pay staggering sums just to own it, and this drives speculation about the coin's worth into the astronomical range. Another aspect that makes the 2002 penny so captivating is the year 2002 itself, a modern era where coins were thought to be carefully produced with advanced machinery and rigorous quality control, so the idea that a coin from this year could harbor mistakes severe enough to elevate it into legendary status makes it even more special, because the unexpected is always more exciting. And when collectors realize that even in the 21st century the mint is not immune to rare accidents, they become even more motivated to search. Adding to the frenzy, we must also consider the cultural appeal of Lincoln cents in general, because ever since their introduction in 1909 these coins have held a unique place in American history and collecting, with every design detail, from Lincoln's bust on the obverse to the memorial or shield reverses, being scrutinized and adored by generations. And the Denver Mint's issues have always been popular among collectors, meaning that a 2002 penny with exceptional errors has both the historical prestige and the rarity factor to become a record-shattering phenomenon. Furthermore, when rumors circulate that a single coin is valued at $290 million, this alone generates viral attention, drawing in not only serious numismatists but also casual enthusiasts and even people with no previous knowledge of coin collecting who suddenly feel the urge to check their change jars, their drawers, and their piggy banks, which amplifies the legend even more. It becomes a cultural wave, similar to other legendary coins like the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 doubled die penny, and mule errors from other years that stunned the collecting world. And because these stories are passed around, retold, and magnified online, the possibility of a 2002 penny being worth such a fortune becomes a modern myth, yet one grounded in enough reality that it fuels the dream. The psychology of rarity also plays a key role here, because when humans perceive something as unique or one of a kind, its value can skyrocket to unimaginable levels regardless of its intrinsic worth. And in this case the tiny copper-plated zinc disc we call a penny transforms into a symbol of luck, discovery, and wealth, and so the possibility of a $290 million valuation does not seem so far-fetched in the minds of collectors who understand how supply, demand, and desire interact in the numismatic world. Consider also how errors like die clashes where two dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving behind ghostly outlines of reverse designs on subsequent coins, could exist in the 2002 D series, and if one such clash were dramatic and well-preserved, it could again raise the coin's desirability and value exponentially. Add to that lamination errors where the coin's surface metal peels away, revealing strange patterns or missing patches, or striking through foreign objects where bits of debris like grease, wire, or cloth accidentally became embedded into the design during striking, creating bizarre anomalies, and you realize that the possibilities are endless. Each possibility adding to the mystery and mystique of what could make this coin command such an astronomical price tag. In fact, it is this endless universe of potential errors combined with the allure of Denver Mint's history that fuels the imagination of both experts and beginners, making them believe that one lucky finder could one day cash in for a once-in-a-lifetime fortune. When you think about it, this is why the legend of the 2002 D penny remains so strong, because it blends reality, possibility, and human hope into one powerful narrative. And whether or not an example has yet surfaced, the idea that one might exist keeps collectors